Welcome to Whisper Walls, a series presented by Word Limit. In a world crawling towards an apocalypse, all that may remain are the stories that can help rebuild. Tonight, a woman prepares to erase her memory that haunts her, but before she does, she records a final message, a warning, a secret, a truth someone doesn't want remembered. If you enjoy these stories, please visit us at wordlimit.com or follow us on X at wordlimit or on Instagram at wordlimitpod. Now settle in. This story will grip you with a 35 word limit. This is the story of Joan.
Good morning, my name is Joan, but today I'm subject number 871. In a few hours I'll be sitting in a Zocad's cognitive replacement facility, handing over the memory that's been suffocating me for years. They say they can take the worst parts of your life and erase them, like chalk wiped clean from a board. I need this. But before I go through with it, I have to record this. Maybe I'll never listen to it again. God, I hope I won't. But I don't want to let this memory disappear without a trace. As horrible as it's been, it's still a part of me, a part of who I became. It happened late one night after work. I stayed later than usual trying to wrap up a project, and by the time I hit the road, it felt like the world had gone to sleep without me. My drive home cuts through rural roads, no streetlights, no signs of life, just an endless stretch of blacktop with woods pressing in on either side. It's always quiet, too quiet. That night, the quiet broke with a ding. The engine light. The car jerked, sputtered, and died in the middle of nowhere. I sat there in disbelief for a second, like maybe if I ignored it, the car would change its mind. It didn't. So, like every clueless driver in a bad movie, I popped the hood, stared at the engine like I understood what any of it meant, and then slammed it shut. No service on my phone, no cars passing by, just me and miles of nothing. I waited, but for what? A miracle. A tow truck that wasn't coming. That's when I saw it. A fire. It was flickering in the distance. It wasn't far, at least I didn't think so. Maybe campers. Maybe someone who could help. I told myself it was my best option. I knew it couldn't be, but I wanted it to be. I followed the light, stepping off the road and into the woods. With every step, the air seemed to thicken, the silence pressing harder against my ears. The fire grew brighter, and then I heard them. Voices, low and rhythmic, chanting in a language I didn't recognize. I slowed down, careful now. The fire wasn't just a campfire, it was massive, roaring, throwing shadows against the trees. And there, around it, were people. Men and women swayed in unison, their faces lit in sharp, unnatural angles by the flames. In their hands they held something, a body. I froze. They moved like they'd done this 100 times before, hoisting the body high, chanting louder, faster. Then they placed it into a wooden box, and without missing a beat, they fed the box and the body to the fire. The flames roared higher, and I gasped before I could stop myself. The chanting stopped. One by one, they turned toward me, and they smiled. Not the kind of smile that welcomes you, but the kind that tells you you're already dead. I backed away, but every step betrayed me. Twigs snapping, leaves rustling, my breath catching in my throat. They whispered to each other, voices sharp and cutting, and then they moved. Not toward me, into the woods. They vanished into the darkness, but I could feel them, their eyes crawling all over me, hunting. I dropped to the ground, flattening myself against the mud. I didn't breathe. I didn't move. I just crawled inch by inch, praying the darkness would swallow me whole. Finally, I felt cold pavement from the night air under my hands. My car was just ahead, my salvation. But before I could move, I saw them. One of them, maybe arm's distance, just whispered,
No need to run.
No need to run. I bolted. I've never moved faster in my life. Crashing into the car and fumbling for the keys, the engine roared to life like it hadn't been dead minutes before, and I didn't question it. I looked back. They stood at the edge of the woods, their faces still, watching, waiting. I just drove. I made it home, but home doesn't feel safe anymore. The memory followed me. It's in every shadow, every flicker of light, every quiet moment. Sometimes I hope that body tossed into the fire was dead. Was it? If the person was dead, how did they die? But therapy hasn't helped. Time hasn't helped. That's why I'm here. Zocads is my last hope. But before I go, Theo, I hope somehow you hear this. Your wife, Eve, she's not who you think she is. I've tried to ignore it, tried to push it aside, but the pieces don't fit. The things you said on your recording, the way she found you after the heist, it wasn't a coincidence. She knows something. And her father? He wasn't her father. I don't know what her endgame is, but I know this. She's dangerous. You're stronger than her, Theo. You always have been. You're stronger than you know. And I hope you realize it before it's too late. I know some people think it's crazy, but I've put in my deposit for the escape. I put enough for 2 tickets for whenever it happens. I'm hoping you'll take the second. But if you don't, I understand. I think she's stolen your memories of what we had together because you've forgotten what we used to be. Just don't let her take more from you than she already has. With love, Joan.
Thanks for listening. Please subscribe to our channel for more stories and series. Again, please follow us on X at WordLimit and Instagram at WordLimitPod, or visit us at wordlimit.com, where we strive to connect and never lose your attention.